is The Furnace with John Burton.
Hey, all right, let's talk about some of the weird and crazy stuff. And I've done this recently, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about the unnecessary, crazy and weird stuff that's coming out of churches and people kind of in the name of Holy Spirit freedom. And, those of you that know me, you know I'm a big believer in freedom. I am not afraid of manifestations in the church. I'm not afraid of even manifestations that might be quote unquote demonic, because that's, an argument that people use a lot is, well, that's the devil. Well, I'm not afraid of that. When the devil starts manifesting, you can know kind of the battle's on. And man, today the devil stays hidden most of the time. And it's kind of nice to see him come out into the open so we can get him. And so I'm not afraid of that. But I'm going to talk about, so you have these three categories typically. You've got it, it's God, the Holy Spirit that's, causing these manifestations, or it's the devil. Third category is it's humans, human craziness, human flesh, human emotions. And I want to break that down just a little bit. Okay, I will also say I am not afraid of legitimate human emotion. And this happens a lot. And there's people out there who are really hungry for God. And who knows, they've had all kinds of different histories, and some of them have woundings, some of them are maybe just a little immature, some of them are imbalanced. And there's nothing really evil about them being emotional. And, I'm like you. I've been in church environments where, some emotion is happening, and it's pretty clear that it's not because of a weighty glory cloud of God. It's more because that they're just being human and having emotions and not sure exactly how to handle all that. So I get that. What I do want to deal with today is unnecessary foolishness. And this is something that we can speak to, that I think we can teach on, that we can confront, we can deal with it. I don't want anything that's fake or manufactured. Because then what happens is people presume that, hey, look at that, that's God, and it's not really God. It's just people being goofy. And we don't need that. Now again, this one's tough. It's tough to deal with this because you gotta kind of categorize it, but then at the same time, you don't want to necessarily have to categorize everything as if you are the judge and you're trying to, it's on you whether it's God or not, or whether we should allow it or shut it down. And that falls on leadership. But leadership is famous for shutting things down more than allowing things. And man, I sure wish we had some church services where the flags and the banners were waving and the people were groaning and crying and shofars are blowing. And I love those environments because people are just locked in on Jesus. They are, whether they're they fall into the category of what I'm talking about today or not. Well, yeah, okay, I don't know, but I'd sure rather deal with some of the crazy instead of shutting it all down. I'd totally much rather do that. But again, let's jump back into this specific category of people we're talking about today. And maybe the Lord will speak to you about this. Maybe you're one of these people, and it does cause a little bit of a stress on leadership having to deal with you. It really does, and if you are being unnecessarily expressive or unnecessarily, I've been in church services where someone just starts drawing attention to themselves, and they're doing it in a way that it's They think they're being ultra spiritual. It's just not. And man, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm so conflicted right now as I deal with this. Because as I said that, because we hear that argument all the time, it's like people are being a distraction. That even dealing with this bothers me, because I've also been in church services where someone's being exuberant and you're looking at them and it's like, is that really necessary? And maybe they're laughing a lot, or maybe they're praying real loud, or maybe they're rolling on the floor and nobody else is, or I don't know. And I've seen these people be catalysts for breakthrough. So I'm so conflicted as I'm talking about this, because you don't want to point the finger at someone just because they're the only one. They may be a forerunner. They may be a catalyst. They may be breaking through. They may be irritating your flesh because your flesh needs to be irritated, right? And so I really truly am conflicted in all this. But again, let's try to recenter here. I'm trying my best. There are those who are it's just not necessary. And I'm thinking there was a situation many years ago, and there was this one particular lady, and she was just, some of what she did definitely was irritating, and she'd have this big flag, and she'd be kind of dancing right in the front, right, almost, right in front of our worship leader. And so I kind of gave her some healthy boundaries because I didn't want to shut her down. I said, you know what, I love your dancing, I love all this, but this is many years ago, but would you keep it to maybe to the sides over here, and different buildings are different. Some churches have gigantic altar spaces where it's fine, go right up to the front, and I love that. But where we were, it just wasn't working out. And I said, definitely in the back is fine, or on the sides over here is fine. But if you could, people are trying to lock in and they can't really see what's going on. So I asked her to do that. And lo and behold, very next service, there she is, running around, doing laps around, front to back, and doing all her antics. And so I went to the back and waited for her to make one of her laps, and I stopped her. And she was startled. And she was trying to make it out as if she was quote unquote in the spirit, and I was bringing her out of the spirit, and that wasn't right of me, kind of a thing. And I said, but I was very direct with her. I said, listen, I told you not to do that. I was the leader of the church there, and I told her, I said, don't do that. I said, come on, it's completely, radically, entirely unnecessary. You don't have to be doing laps, and you don't have to be standing right in that spot right in the front where people just can't worship the way that they want to. And I said, stop it, don't do it again. And it bothered her, and she ended up disappearing pretty much after that. And so don't be weird just to be weird, and I'll tell you this, don't settle for less. If God is legitimately moving on you and you're just rocked, man, go for it. If he's not, don't try to manufacture it. Don't try to mimic it. Don't imitate it. Don't do that. It's completely unnecessary. For me, and I know we're all different, for me, I'm not always crazy expressive. I'll just stand there. I'll stand there, or I'll just sit on the floor. I'll find a dark corner or whatever, and kind of go into hiding as I encounter God and meet with God. But as God starts to really hit me, everything changes. And I've been drunk in the spirit many times, and I've had encounters that are just ridiculously amazing and supernatural. All of this stuff, but for me, I'll just sit back. When I travel and speak, I don't purposely get all dancey and demonstrative just because I'm the guest speaker. I'm supposed to be this mega spirit-filled guy or whatever. I'll oftentimes just shrink back, or I'll pace. I'll walk around the room or whatever, and because I don't want to just pretend. I don't want to do that. And so, but we're all different. I get that. We're totally all different. And so, but the point I'm making in this, don't fake it. Don't be a nuisance. Don't think you're all spiritual because you're more demonstrative than others. Don't do that. And certainly if there's rules of the house, don't break the rules of the house. If you're not supposed to flag, which I love flags, we got to get flags back in the church, but if the church doesn't want you flagging, waving banners, don't do it, right? Honor the house. And so, I think the only thing that's truly unanointed is tambourines. Yeah, leave your tambourines at home. And I think about this sometimes. I'm like, if they're going to bring their tambourine, how about if I bring my tuba? Why don't I cruise on in with a snare drum, right? Why don't I bring my own electric guitar and amp right there from the pew? Why don't I do that? Why do the tambourines get a pass? I don't get it. Miriam started something that has plagued churches to this day. And but a good tambourine player, hey, they can bring something. But are y'all getting this? Are y'all tracking with me? Are y'all feeling me? We don't want to become restrictive. We don't want to grieve the Spirit. We don't want to shut it down. We want it to blow up. I'm wearing my brand new Revival t-shirt. I just got it in the mail today, and it's all about what the Azusa Revival looked like, and all of the groaning and rolling and shaking and crying and yelling and screaming. And so I'm big into all that. I've got it on my back right now on this t-shirt describing the Azusa Revival 1906, and I'm big into all that. But just don't be unnecessarily weird. Some of y'all are just weird, and you've been trying to find it. And this is a real statement. I'm not trying to be mean. Some of you are you're just weird. You are, and be okay with that. I'm weird in some areas, but you've been rejected. You've been rejected in life, and all of this kind of stuff, and you're just looking for your place. And I get that. I sympathize. And so what happens is it's like, okay, now you have permission to be weird and crazy and goofy and all of this, kind of in the church, in the spirit realm. And so now you found your place. Well, it's not your place to do that. Be legit. Be real. If God's moving, shake away. And, if you've got some legit emotion going on, I hope you have permission to be emotional in the church that you're in. But don't be fake, And so what do you think about all this? I know this is a tough one, because we don't want to be these critical people that are judging and pointing our fingers and doing all that kind of stuff, and we don't want to be those people. But we also don't want to be those that, we don't want to be those that are just permitting, anything's permissible is what I'm trying to say. So what do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. We need more of God. We need more of the legitimate, bizarre manifestations of the Spirit of God. I'm not afraid of the devil showing up. I'm not afraid of emotion. I want to minimize the unnecessary stuff. So love to know what you have to say. Leave me some comments and I'll jump in. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Furnace with John Burton. You can access media, read articles, and partner with the ministry online at burton.tv. And by all means, share this podcast with those who are hungry for revival, reformation, and revolution.